Hey everyone, it's Lauren here. We're going to do some Project Life today. So I'm just going to go through the printable cards that we got that Deb made, or all those subscriber exclusives. I didn't set the printing settings properly when I printed, and they're a little bit smaller, so you can see here I'm going to layer this pink one underneath this grid with the leaves and flower. And then I'm just having to play with all the pattern paper that we got, and then I'll come back to some of the cutter parts just to see what I like and how it works. And the colours, the dominant colours of that reddy maroon, the green and the yellow are what where this layout is centered around. I've got a photo up the top here of collage of 4 photos of where my son hurt his foot, and I thought this would be a really nice, I love that green, and I thought it'd just be a nice card. So fast forward a little, because we don't need to see us cutting paper and fiddling around, but instead let's get set on working each card out and having the layout come together. So I cut the cut files, so hopefully you've seen the prep video and seen how I set myself up for the month to work things and get my kit killed. So one of them, when I was cutting this Love You, the U part wasn't on the mat properly and it didn't cut and all that kind of jazz, because I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to cut files. So instead I just kept this love with the hearts, and then I've just backed it with some of the Project Life printable cards because I like that pink, and I thought I'd use some pattern paper, which is a green, and then another printable card, which is that maroon. So I'm going to center it there. I did cut off the hearts because I just felt like it didn't need it, and I'm going to use this flower sticker to finish that bit off. Well, actually not finishing it, because I actually put a bit more onto that little card. So how have we been? Have we been enjoying the kits? This is my last design team project for February, but there's other things going on, and hopefully you've enjoyed everything we've been making, and you've enjoyed what you've been making with the kit. I'm just going to layer that over top of the L just so that you can see the flower. It just looks really nice that way. Cut down the edges and make sure it's glued. So I'm just thinking it just needs something else on this little card. And I don't know about you, but when I do Project Life pocket page, I treat when I put it together, I get the cards and the colours and have a scheme kind of going, a theme, and then I work on each little card one by one. Obviously, keep it in mind the previous card or the cards that you've made, but they're all their own little layout and then they come together so that the theme and the colour and whatnot all just combines really well. So there's those little banner washi strips on the sticker sheet, so I thought I'd use that with the wood veneer heart that we got in a little surprise package, and a word strip that I use cut down with a fishtail banner. Now we also got these enamel dots, so I'm going to use a few more of them. I'm going to focus on the black and the silver. That card's done, so I'm going to move to this card where I've got 2 photos. I'm going to overlap them, so it's a before a haircut and after a haircut photo, and they're always fun to have, so why not? So I'm just going to overlap them because there is a fair bit of space on the photos, so I can cover the photo up without it being missing the content. And then this is part of the cut apart sheets. It's a 3x3 card, but I thought I'd cut it out and that would give me a pretty journaling spot. So just roughly cutting so that I can keep that maroon there and have that colour pop on that as well. And you can see I've used pattern paper as the background for this card. Just having a play, just wanted to see what it needed to make that label stick out more, and I'm going to settle on this craft tag that we also got. Adding a little bit of twine from my stash, just going to tie it on. Not going to do anything fancy, just a double knot, and that's going to be the layering piece behind that label. So that's a really nice thing that makes the pattern paper stand out from the pattern paper, and you can still see that lovely pattern paper behind it. well, to the sides and behind it, I guess. It's not see-through. So putting the label on and just cutting that down so I know what it's going to look like. And I'm just going to have a play with embellishing it. So there's this beautiful sticker and some hearts. So this is where the yellow becomes part of the layout, because before that it was only this maroon and the green. But I like that yellow, mustardy yellow as well, so that's going to join us. And I found that one of the printable hearts that say love, and the maroon is just a perfect maroon. And I'm going to use these thickers to spell out before and then the word after. So we're just going to quickly fast forward through all this, because we all know how to fight with thickers and with the placement. So on it goes, before and after, and then I'm just going to use my pen to write, and in a scripty kind of, or running writing probably is a better description. So if you've seen my prep video, I discussed where I roughly cut out the printables rather than fussy cutting them entirely, because moments like this where I can decide whether I wanted the white border or not. So because I wanted this love heart to pop off the layering cluster, I wanted the white to be there as the border. If it was something that I wanted to blend in a bit more, then I would cut it without the white border. So that card's done, and we're going to move on to this other 4x6. Sometimes I just work with the 4x6s first, and other times it's just whatever I look at when I look at the set, like the layout and the cards as a whole. It's like, yep, I know what I have an idea for this card, so I'm going to go to that card next. So this one I found that cut apart that says brave at heart, and I wanted to keep the word brave, so I've just fussy cut it so that it is excuse me, just yawn, and oh my gosh, of course it felt like the longest yawn ever. So just using that, and then I'm going to use the cut off from the craft tag that brings in some of that craft as well up to that top card. And I just cut that into a fishtail banner, and that's just going to be a nice little touch. I then remembered, because I don't know why I forgot, that I had the labels that we got as the printables, so I'm going to cut that yellow one down, which also then brings the yellow in from the bottom cards as well. So just going to work on layering that up, and then I'm going to stick on the word brave, and then I get the idea to get the alphas out again and spell the word so that the title is So Brave, and it just is the perfect combination of the cut apart and the thickers. It's always nice to mix up your fonts and the way things are happening. So I just thought it needed something else, so I'm trying to work out what else I could put on there, because there's a lot going on with the photos. I don't want something too overwhelming. But there's this word sticker, and then this circle with the gold heart in it is going to be the perfect addition. So just cutting down, giving some fishtail banners to the end of it, and then enamel dots to finish it off. It's funny because I'd wait till the very last step for enamel dots when I'm making a layout, but on Project Life, yeah, I finish the card before I do enamel dots, but you think I'd do all the cards before I did the enamel dots, but apparently not. So I kind of just pull out these two 3x4 cards so I can work on them, because the one with the flowers doesn't need much or maybe even anything. So I'm just going to glue this printable down on top, and again, it's only smaller than the normal size because I didn't check my settings properly. I'm just going to write some journaling on here about the sore foot, the bruised ankle, and then I'm going to halfway through it use the alphas again, and I'm going to write the word ouch. So just think that's a nice touch to the journaling. So something that could have been heavily just my handwriting is then broken up with the thickers. And then I continue to finish writing the story about it. Poor Oliver, he went to kick a soccer ball, and as he kicked it, I think the ball moved or something, but he ended up kicking a blanket, I think, and underneath it was, or a jumper might have been, underneath it was the scooter, so he just kicked a scooter, and unknowingly, so it was pretty forceful, and luckily he didn't break it, but he bruised it, so we were off. He couldn't walk on it for a week, other than with crutches and whatnot, and had to elevate it, and yeah, change that week up, that's for sure. So I've got these smaller size prints here, and I just, sometimes I just play with the size of the photos and whatnot and just see what happens. So I've got this one here of the two boys folding up laundry, and we're watching Doctor Who. So I'm just going to add a label and then decorate it going from there. Sometimes all you need is one idea. So I had the photo, and then I had the idea of getting a label. And then from that, it just builds and builds so that your layout comes together, or your project life, little cards come together, whatever you're working on. Anyway, that's how it happens for me. I know a lot of people lay things out and narrow things down and have a plan, or even draw a plan before they even start creating. But for me, that's not how I work. I like to just be creative and see where it takes me in the moment. So that's got a label and some journaling, and just having a look through my really useful box. You can see the really useful tray up there to the right of my screen, and then that just has all the lovely embellishments. I found this label, and I'm just going to cut off the top and then add this one. I thought I was going to add it above my journaling label, but it was a little bit too long, so instead I put it to the side of the photo, and I really like the way that looks. So I just kept a little bit of the white of the tag so that it wasn't just full green on green, and it looked like a tab that I tucked in under the photo. Again, with a crazy size of a photo, and I'm going to just randomly add this plant because I just think it just goes well enough. It's not the perfect icon, I guess, but it just is going to fill in that space, and it's going to work. I actually like the colors go really well together with the layout, and it's just the perfect thing in the moment. So on it goes. Just a random photo of myself that was taken by a 3-year-old, and I'm going to add this second plant here because again it goes with the first plant, and why not? And then I'm going to use the alphas again because I've already used them so much, it'd be ideal to just keep using them. So I'm going to write okay and put an exclamation mark and a question mark, but then I take off the question mark because it's just too long. I didn't like the fact that it had 4 letters, 4 little tiles. So you can see here I'm just putting them to the right, here on top of the pocket page so that I can see it come together. And now I really like this globe, and I fussy cutted it from one of the cut aparts earlier, and then now I finally get to use it. So just that paper there is just backing from some of the ephemera, some of the embellishments. I can't remember which ones, but if you look at my unboxing, it obviously would tell you. But it's got some little crosses on it, and it looks really nice. So it's going to layer these labels up, and that's going to be that little feature and that pop of colour. So again, fussy cutting, and you can see it doesn't take barely any time. So I'm going to stick down the paper here, and I'm going to use foam to stick up the globe. I was going to call it an atlas. It's definitely not an atlas. So just a bit of foam just to make sure it pops up a little. Not much. It is a project life, and you need to stick it in the pocket. If it's too much dimension, if it's too cheeky, if it's too chunky, then it just doesn't work very well. So on it goes, and I just have to reposition it to make sure. I wanted the side of the paper to be, that join to be hidden behind the globe rather than a jaunty overlap or whatnot. So just going to add double-sided tape to the 3 labels at once, and then I'm going to play with layering them up so that they're all where it looks lovely to be. On it goes. And again, and again. So it's just a nice little layering technique without having to, waste too much ephemera or die cuts, because I know some people like the look of lots of embellishments on your layouts, but feel that because you have such limited spending or limited stash that you don't want to use too much. So this might be a way to, labels aren't very costly, especially if they're printables. I'm just using my brush marker just to spell out November. It's just the title card for the month. I normally just project life for the month. Sometimes I have a few project life pages, some I don't have any, or one, and that just go alongside the 12x12s and other size layouts that I put in my albums. So that's just really a nice, just a homemade touch, I guess, because you can tell I've written it myself. And I'm just using the watercolour markers, the Vicky Burden watercolour markers that we got in the mixed media kit, to add some green splatters just because it was missing something. And here's the close-ups of the layout. So hopefully you've enjoyed the Project Life today. Let me know if you want to see more Project Life from me. It's not something I often do record, so if you are interested, then let me know and I will get that going. Anyway, thank you for joining me today and hope you've had a great day and you feel inspired. Bye guys.